Alright, what's up, everybody? We're back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. Today, we're going to be doing something different. We're going to be doing a buy or sell on these NBA teams. Storylines came up with a couple, well, not came up with, these are kind of just some general things about some teams so far this NBA season. And I'm going to talk about am I buying these things or am I selling these things? We have 9 of them, so we're going to get into it. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. Really appreciate it. If you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. Really appreciate it. Really helps out a lot. TikTok, Twitter, stuff like that. Links in the description down below. And yeah, this might be a long video. I don't know, but we'll see. Let's get right into it. So we'll get into it now. And by the way, before we really get into it, this is very early on in the season. You know, we're still only like 10, 11 games in. We have 70 more games to go. So a lot of this can change very soon. These are just some early things that we're seeing. You know, I'm just going to be buying or selling them. You know, just a little fun thing just to see how real these teams are now. All right, so we're getting to it right now. Starting with the first one is about the Milwaukee Bucks. Line 1 is saying the Bucks' issues are bigger than we thought. Of course, they made the huge trade in the offseason to go get Damian Lillard. And immediately we put them in the contention top tier. These are going to be one of the top teams in the league, no doubt. This team is a threat to win a championship, which still is, obviously. But we're seeing early on in the year that they're not as amazing or maybe as really good as we thought they were. They're 6-4 so far. They've had their good games, they've had their bad games so far. And yeah, some of the issues that we've had with the Bucks and offseason that maybe could come into play are starting to show, and those issues might be a little bit bigger. It might be a little bit more. We should have put more thought into it. You know, when we talk about the Bucks this offseason before the season started. So far, their offense is the top 10 offense right now. Damian Lillard is having a tough time though, shooting the ball. He's shooting 37% from the field and 27% from 3 so far. 22 points per game. Chris Middleton doesn't really look the same. Brook Lopez is averaging under 10 points per game. Their bench hasn't really done a whole lot, and their defense looks not very good. So are the Bucks' issues bigger than what we thought? I'm kind of torn a little bit between the buy or sell, but I'm gonna buy it a tiny bit. I'm gonna buy half of it. Buy half of it, meaning this. Offensively, I think they're gonna be okay. Even though Dame is really struggling, we gotta remember that the Dame Lillard trade happened like right before media day, so they really have only had like a month really to kind of put this thing together. They haven't had a full offseason from July or even June to now. They already had like, he got in right when training camp started, had their training camp preseason, and then the season starts. You know, they really only had a few weeks to kind of prepare for Damian Lillard and them. So I'm not worried about Damian Lillard because he's one of the best players of all time. He's going to figure it out. Giannis has been really good this season. Chris Middleton as too might be a tiny bit of a concern, but you got to remember he did have offseason knee surgery, and he's only playing 19 minutes a game. He's not playing on back-to-backs, and right now he doesn't look amazing. Last night against the Bulls, he had a little bit of moments here and there, but you could tell he's still trying to figure it out, still trying to get his way back into the system. And once he keeps playing, honestly, that's going to get better just by playing. You know, probably by like February, March, he's going to look back into form. And if he gets back into form, that's a huge piece because, again, he's a big-time player for this team. And their bench has been solid. They've had moments here and there. You know, Bobby Portis has had some good games. He's actually the third leading scorer. Jay Crowder, who unfortunately will be out for a little while with an injury, but he's been pretty solid. You know, Cameron Payne, Pat Connaughton are decent veterans. Even Marjon Beauchamp, their first round pick from last year, has shown some things. You know, guys like Andre Jackson are in the rotation now. Out of UConn, he might get some minutes. So honestly, offensively, I'm not really worried, and they're still top 10 offense, even with all that being said. So offensively, I'm not very worried, but the defense is where I'm kind of worried. That's why I'm buying half and selling half. I'm buying the offensive part. I'm buying Dame Lillard's going to be back to normal. Chris Middleton eventually is going to be better, and their role players could be better, maybe a trade at the trade deadline. But their defense is something that I'm a little bit concerned about. They have the 25th ranked defense in the league, and I don't really know how much better it gets on the perimeter. Interior-wise, I mean, Brook Lopez obviously is one of the better shot blockers in the league. Giannis, of course. But the perimeter defense is something I would be concerned about. I mean, going from Jrue Holiday and Grayson Allen in the backcourt defensively to Damian Lillard and Malik Beasley, it's a big drop-off. I mean, we know Damian Lillard, he's never been a big defender. He's never been a horrible defender. This year, he doesn't look great. But defensively, he's never been there. But Malik Beasley is not a good defender. I mean, we saw the Tyrese Halliburton clip. Malik Beasley's not that defensively. And even off the bench, Cameron Payne is a little bit smaller. Pat Connaughton's solid, but the perimeter defense would be a concern for Milwaukee. I don't really know how much Malik Beasley and Dame Lillard can get better over a season worth. Maybe just gelling together, I guess. I don't know. But the defense is something I would be a little concerned about. The defensive issues are a lot bigger than we thought. Offensively, I'm okay with this team. Defensively, though, defensively, it's going to be maybe a little bit of a problem. So that's why I'm buying half of the Bucks' issues are bigger than we thought. Next one we have is the Minnesota Timberwolves, saying the Minnesota Timberwolves are a top team in the Western Conference. So far, the Timberwolves have been really good this season. They are 7-2, third in the West right now. They have the number one defense in the association. And they look really good. They have some good wins too against the Boston Celtics. I think, did they beat no, they did not beat the 76ers. They beat another really good team. I'm blanking right now. I'm sorry. But the Timberwolves they beat the Warriors the other day. They look really, really good right now. Honestly, they look really good. Anthony Edwards has taken the kind of star jump we expected. He's averaging 28, 6, and 5 with a steal per game, shooting 48% from the field, 36% from 3. And he's had some big moments where he's closed out some games. He had that big game against Boston. In overtime, he scored 11 points against the Warriors the other day. He closed out the game. He's just been amazing so far this year. Karl-Anthony Towns, even though he had a bad start, the last 3 games, he slowly started to pick it up. Trying to kind of find his role in the offense. Rudy Gobert looked like defensive player of the year. Rudy, he's averaging 12 and 12 with 2 blocks per game. Jaden McDaniels looks good. I mean, we know he does defensively. Offensively, he's taking a little bit of a step. Mike Conley is playing amazing so far, too. He's averaging 5 assists and under 1 turnover per game. Naz Reid has been very good. He's their third leading scorer off the bench, averaging 13 points on 50% shooting and 42% from 3. Kyle Anderson, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, they have been a really fun team to watch. They've been a really good team. Obviously, the number 1 defense in the league. And we're just saying, is this real? Is this Minnesota Timberwolves team actually a top team in the West? When it's all said and done, will they be a top seed in the Western Conference? A team you have to take seriously. And to be honest, I'm buying it. I'm going to buy on the Minnesota Timberwolves. I was big on them coming into the season. I had them, I think when I did my Western Conference ranking, I had them at number 5 or number 6, I think. One of those two. And right now, they're looking like it. I mean, Anthony Edwards taking the star jump that we kind of wanted him to take is huge. Rudy Gobert looking a lot more comfortable in Minnesota. Maybe it just took a year for him to kind of adjust to the team. He looks a lot better. I was a little worried about Karl-Anthony Towns to start the year. Maybe he would have been on the trade block, but now he's starting to pick it back up. And if he starts playing like we know he can play at all-star level, Karl-Anthony Towns, this team is going to get even better. Their bench is really solid. Naz Reid is really good. Kyle Anderson's a solid vet. Nickeil Alexander-Walker has shown some value on both ends. Shake Milton even has shown some value. Mike Conley being a good veteran. Jaden McDaniels being a lockdown defender, but also if he could bring it on the offensive end. This team, I really like this team. I think they're a team you definitely have to watch out for. I'm not saying they're going to win a championship or anything. I'm not putting them there yet. But I think this can continue throughout the rest of the season. I mean, I don't see any reason why they can't finish as the number 1 or a top 3 defense in the league. There's no reason for that. And if their defense keeps up like this, then they're going to win a lot of games. If their defense just continues to do what they're doing, number 1 defense, they allow the least amount of points per game as well. If it keeps up like this as one being a top defense, I mean, as long as Anthony Edwards keeps doing what he's doing, I mean, what's stopping this team from being a top seed in the Western Conference? But yeah, very happy for Minnesota to have this year. Again, it's only been 9 games for them, so they still have a lot more to go. Maybe some things can happen later down the line, but I'm buying that this team can finish as one of the top teams in the Western Conference. The next one is a big one, topical one, about the LA Clippers, saying the LA Clippers this will not work. This will fail. LA Clippers, since the James Harden trade, have not won a game. They're 0-4, and it doesn't look great right now. They lost to the Memphis Grizzlies the other day, who have 1 win on the season. It's not looking amazing right now. I want to say some stats from the Clippers ever since the James Harden trade. Just some team stats for them. In the last 4 games, and this is every team's last 4 games, they have scored the least amount of points per game. They're averaging 104 points per game. Dead last in the league. Their field goal percentage is one of the worst in the league. Their field goals made per game, last in the league. Their 3-point percentage is second to last in the league, only above the Charlotte Hornets. They are third to last in the league in 3-pointers made per game. And then in the advanced stats wise, in the last 4 games, their offensive rating is 29th, only above the Portland Trail Blazers. Their defensive rating is 25th, and their net rating is 27th in the league. Their offense is abysmal in the last 4 games. Though, like, being last in points per game, 29th offensive rating, like, those aren't numbers of a team that wants to compete. Those are numbers of a young rebuilding team, you know? Like, their numbers on the court look awful. Their offensive numbers are bad with James Harden so far. And even, not even just the numbers and everything like that. Well, also one more number. James Harden in a game against the Memphis Grizzlies where they lost by 4 points was a negative 28 in 29 minutes. They lost by 4. They were never down by as many as, the biggest lead was probably, 12, 13 for the Grizzlies? Harden was a negative 28. Just does not seem right. But even just watching this team on the court, you could definitely tell some changes need to be made a little bit. Now, I'm not buying or selling that won't work. I'm gonna sell some of it. I'm gonna sell the will not work part, because I think it's too early for me to buy in on it, you know? Now in 10-15 games, if they're still not working, then we can talk about it. But it has only been 4 games. So far they are 3-6. They still have 73 more games to play. And Tyronn Lue even came out and said, give me 10 games with this team and I'll figure it out. Which, Tyronn Lue is an amazing coach. He's been a great coach the last few years. He's taken teams that shouldn't have even been to where they are. So, you gotta respect Tyronn Lue, and I respect Tyronn Lue, and I'll give him a little bit of time. You know, I'll give him some time, because we're still in November, you know? But visually, even watching this team, you could definitely tell there's some things that need to be changed. The 4-star, the Paul George, Kawhi, Westbrook, and Harden, all 4 of these guys need the ball in their hands. All 4 of these guys aren't really used to sitting in the corner, you know? And you could definitely tell throughout the first 3 games that a lot of these guys aren't used to it. James Harden especially. James Harden has never been an off-ball player. James Harden, since he's gotten to Houston and won the MVP, he's averaged 30 points, 8 points per game in a season. James Harden needs the ball in his hands to be effective. You know, we saw in Houston at the end of his days, or we saw in Brooklyn when he was sharing with Kyrie and KD, that if he didn't have the ball in his hands, he was just sitting on the wing, not doing much. And he was not happy with that. Then he went to Philly with Joel Embiid, and when he wasn't performing, and when Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey had the ball, he was not doing much. And we're already seeing it in LA, where with Kawhi or Paul George running a play, James Harden just sitting in the corner, sitting on the wing, hands on his shorts, you know, sitting there not doing anything. And that's a problem for the LA Clippers, because James Harden has to realize that this is what he's going to have to be. James Harden is 34 years old at this point. And the days of him being an MVP candidate and averaging, 30 and 29 points per game, those are behind him. You know, he's probably never going to have a year like that again in the NBA. And at this point, he's a lot old. He's too old to be kind of maybe your number one, lead you to a championship. We've already seen that hasn't worked so far in his career. So if he can't adjust to being an off-ball player, then I don't really know, what the future holds for James Harden. I'm not blaming everything on James Harden at this point. I'm not blaming everything on him, of course. It's a big thing. James Harden needs to know being off the ball. But also, Tyler has to change some stuff in the lineup. I said this a little while ago, but one of them is going to have to come off the bench, and it's most likely going to be Russell Westbrook. Even though Russell Westbrook, I love what Westbrook has been doing since he got to the Clippers. I love Clipper Russ. He's been providing everything they needed to. He's most likely going to have to come off the bench, because I'm not telling one of Kawhi and Paul George to come off the bench. No. And James Harden, he just got there. James Harden's probably better than Russ at this point. So I guess Russ will probably come off the bench. But one of them needs to come off the bench. One of them needs to be with the bench unit. And also the rotation. They got better on the game against the Grizzlies, but I feel like the rotations have been kind of weird. there's been lineups out there where none of the 4 are on the court, which is very weird to me, because if you have 4 star or all-star-ish caliber players, why are all of them sitting at one time and you're not up by 30 in the 4th quarter? You know, like there have been lineups out there where I saw Bowen Tyler, Norman Powell, Terrence Mann, PJ, and Zubac. And it's like in the 2nd quarter, and I'm like, why is that a lineup? Why aren't at least 1 or 2 of them on the court all times? I got it in the Memphis game where you saw Kawhi and Paul George, or Kawhi and Harden were playing a little bit together, and Paul George and Russ are playing together. Like that's what it should be, you know. So yeah, they definitely have to figure it out, you know. There's still, again, so much time left, over 70 plus games left for them to figure it out, which is good. You know, it's a good thing that this didn't happen at the trade deadline, and then they only had like a month and a half to figure it out, and things were going like this. They still have a lot of time to figure it out. But yeah, they definitely need to make a little bit of changes, but I'm gonna sell that for now. For now, I'm selling that it won't work. Now, we can come back to this in another few weeks, and if it still isn't working, then we definitely have to have a lot more conversations. But right now, I'm gonna sell it. I think it's a little bit too early. The next one we have are the Philadelphia 76ers. The Philadelphia 76ers are contenders. Is the next one, and this one I've been thinking about ever since they start off the year great. In the last few games, they've been great. I've been really thinking about this one, and I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna take a chance, and I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna take a chance here. The 76ers right now are 8-1 on an 8-game win streak, best record in the league. They're number 3 offense in the league, the number 8 defense in the league. They look a whole lot different. Now, what made me want to sell it is because, of course, it's the Philadelphia 76ers. We've seen this before where they have really good regular seasons. We get to the playoffs, and then they lose in the 2nd round. That's been the last 4 years of 76ers basketball. But this team isn't the same as the other teams. A new coach, Nick Nurse, who's brought in a great system, and they're all fitting into that system very well. Joel Embiid looks a lot more better. There's just a lot more. It's a lot different, you know. A lot more movement, a lot more, everyone getting involved. New system, it looks refreshing. Like Joel Embiid looks refreshed. Tyrese Maxey looks refreshed. It's just there's a different vibe with the 76er team. Like Joel Embiid should be in the MVP conversation again right now. He's averaging 32, 11, and 5 with 2 blocks per game. He has been absolutely phenomenal. Tyrese Maxey, of course, has been the talk of the league. He looks like he's the MIP right now. He's averaging almost 29 points per game, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, a steal, a block, shooting 50, 40, 90. He's been insane. Tobias Harris has been really good, averaging 19 and 6. Kelly Oubre, which get real soon. Kelly Oubre, hopefully he can get back as soon as possible. He's been very good. Their bench has had some solid moments. The Sixer team looks a lot different, looks a lot better. The system is different. The team just feels different. And right now, you have to respect them as maybe the best team in the league right now. They look like it. They look the part. Are the contenders? For right now, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy their contenders. I'm going to trust in the 76ers. But also, this is my last year trusting the 76ers, honestly. If they don't do it again this year, then I might have to lose some faith in them. But I didn't want to buy it. Honestly, at first, I was like, it's the 76ers. We feel like we do this every year. But there's something different about the 76er team. The vibe is different in Philly. And I'm going to buy it for now. I'm going to buy that they're contenders. Next one is about the Golden State Warriors. This one is the Golden State Warriors do not have enough to be considered contenders. The Warriors, they had a good start to the season. But they have slowly fallen down. They're down to 6-5. And really, what has made this team kind of fall down is they don't have any help outside of Steph Curry. Steph Curry's having a great year. He's averaging 34-4 with a steal, shooting 48% from the field, 44% from 3. He's been really good. But they have not gotten any help, really. Klay Thompson, right now, he's averaging 16 points, shooting 42% from the field, 34% from 3. You could definitely tell that, it's not the same Klay that we're seeing, Andrew Wiggins as well. I don't know what happened. Andrew Wiggins has not been the same. He's averaging 10 points, shooting 41% from the field and 15% from 3 and 50% from the free throw line. He's not been great. Draymond, we don't really rely on him. Draymond's actually been pretty solid offensively. But still, it's Draymond Green. We don't expect him to put up 20 a game, And doesn't help that they don't have any bench pieces that are like bucket getters. You know, like Chris Paul has been very good for the Warriors. He hasn't been shooting the ball well. He's been kind of making the bench look a lot better. Kuminga has been solid, but he's still not shooting the ball super well. And you can definitely tell he's not, I don't know if he's ready yet to be that six-man consistently for this Warriors team in the playoffs and contention and stuff. Moses Moody's has some moments. Sarge has some moments. Gary Payne's has some moments. But they don't have any scoring punch. This is a real stat, and it's crazy. So far through 11 games that the Warriors have played this year, Steph Curry's the only player to score 20 in a game. Steph Curry's the only player to score 20 points in a game so far for the Warriors. That in 11 games. That is crazy. That is actually crazy that no one else besides Steph has scored 20 in a game. Like, they just don't really have enough scoring punch where the offense is really just, all right, Steph, help us. Steph, save us. That's their offense right now. Klay Thompson hasn't been shooting the ball well. Wiggins has not been shooting the ball well at all. Their bench doesn't have any. They don't have a Jordan Poole anymore. So now they have Jordan Poole who come off the bench and put up 20 shots and give you maybe 20 something. Like, they don't have that anymore. So I'm saying the Warriors don't have enough to contend right now. I'm gonna sell, and here's why I'm gonna sell. I feel like we give them a little bit of benefit of the doubt because they are championship contender. They are a dynasty. It's Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. That's not a big three that you want to go against that often. But I'm gonna sell that they don't have enough to be contenders because for me, it takes one game. Klay Thompson, shooters like Klay Thompson, it takes one game for Klay to hit 7 or 8 threes, and that's the help right there. It happened last year where he did not get off to a good start, but then he had a few games in December or January maybe, and then from then on he started to just go. You know, in the regular season at least. The playoffs were different, but regular season. Draymond Green, Chris Paul is too good of a player that he's not going to shoot 36% and 16% from three the entire year. Eventually, he's going to start hitting shots. That's some help right there as well. Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, they're still young. They're still trying to get accustomed to the system, but I feel like those two are going to start to get a lot better. You know, Wiggins, I'm not very sure. I want to say Wiggins is going to get better, but I don't know. You know, maybe he's still trying to get back into the mode. Remember last season he missed a few months because of personal reasons. He came back late into the season, into the playoffs. Maybe he's still trying to work his way back in from that happening, you know. But I'm gonna sell they don't have enough to be contender. I feel like, again, it just takes one game or one stretch from Klay, Chris Paul, and them, and they're right back on track. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna wait on saying they don't have enough help yet. Now, if they go in, like, if we're in December, January, and Klay and them are still struggling, it's still been Steph Curry's show, then maybe we have to get a little worried. But for right now, I'm gonna sell they don't have enough. Next, we have the LA Lakers. And this one is saying that the LA Lakers are not contenders. Now, obviously last year they had the big thing where at the trade deadline they made a bunch of trades, made it all the way to the conference finals as a playing team, swept by Nuggets. This offseason they re-signed a lot of those players. They also brought in a few players like Taurean Prince, Gabe Vincent, Cam Reddish, Jackson Hayes, Christian Wood, and a lot of people, including myself obviously, had this team as a contender. A top 3, top 4 team in the Western Conference. They're going to be good. Look, they have a lot of help. LeBron can finally maybe rest for a season. AD, if he can have a big year. You know, they have guys that can relieve the pressure, and this team is going to be a good one. So far, it has not been that. They're 5-5. The help that they got in the offseason is not helping right now. So right now, they are the 26th ranked offense in the league and a 16th ranked defense. The thing about the Lakers is usually that their offense has not been great, but at the very least, we can rely on their defense being good. So far, it has not been that. Their defense is middle, and their offense is bad. That doesn't, you know, that doesn't add up to a championship contending team. You know what I mean? So the Lakers are not contenders. I'm gonna buy it. I'm sorry, Laker fans. I'm buying that they're not contenders. We might have overreacted to this team a little bit. And now, again, 10 games in, they have 72 more games to play. This can turn around, obviously. Move could be made, potentially. But as of right now, they're not contenders. LeBron James still has to play 35 minutes a game and put up 25, 8, and 5 to win games before the first game of the year against the Nuggets, we saw Darvin Ham came out and said LeBron's not going to play a lot of minutes. We're going to be 28 to 30 minute restriction. That hasn't happened because they can't have it happen. LeBron steps off the court, they can't win. They cannot win. They did win a game the other day without LeBron against the Blazers, but I mean, it wasn't as easy as you wanted it to be. They were up by 12 and the Blazers came back and it was a close game. You know, I mean, they got the win at least, but like, you know, against the Blazers, you know, Anthony Davis has been good this year. He hasn't maybe taken the reins of the team that I thought he was going to do. He's still having a good year, but he just hasn't been the guy for the Lakers. And then after those two, it's been really up in the air. D'Lo had a bad start, but D'Lo's been coming back around. He's still not shooting the ball well from 3, but he's coming back around. Austin Reeves hasn't taken the step that we wanted him to take. He's now their 6-man come off the bench. He's getting better throughout the season, but he still hasn't had a pop or have that third guy that we thought he was going to be. Rui Hachimura, he's missed some time, but he's not really getting the minutes that we thought he was going to get. When he does play, he's been solid, you know. And right now, Taurean Prince looks like their best offseason acquisition. He's shooting the ball well when he does play. Christian Wood has been solid as well. Cam Reddish, defensively, he's been amazing. Offensively, he's starting to pick it up the last 2 games. So maybe that's something that, you know, we can see coming. Gabe Vincent has not been good at all. He is also injured right now, but in 4 games, he's averaging 6 points and shooting 7% from 3. Max Christie, who I thought was going to get a lot more time in the rotation, hasn't really gotten that time. When he has gotten that time, he's not shooting the ball well. Jackson Hayes is playing 8 minutes a game and averaging 1 point and 1 rebound. Yeah, the help that we thought LeBron was getting and the Lakers are getting has not been what we thought it was. Also, Jared Vanderbilt hasn't played yet this year. Is a big factor in the defensive end. But this team isn't as good as we thought. Flat out, so far, this team is not as good as we thought they were going to be. You know? And, of course, that could change. Guys can start hitting shots, get more comfortable with the system. Their defense can start getting better. Maybe they can make a move at the trade deadline. Already been talking about that. But as of right now, this is not a contending team. This is not a top team in the Western Conference right now. And so I'm going to buy that the Lakers are not contenders. Next one is about the Dallas Mavericks. This one is saying the Dallas Mavericks are a real threat in the Western Conference. The Mavericks so far are 8-2. Second seed in the Western Conference. They have the number 2 offense in the league. Their defense is 23rd. But they have been really surprising to me. Before the season started, I did my Western Conference predictions. And I had the Mavericks missing out on the play-in again. I had the Mavericks as the 11th seed. And right now, I look very stupid so far. Through 10 games, I don't look great right now. And I like it. You know, I wasn't rooting against the Mavericks. I just, you know, and now analyzing all the teams, and I was saying the team that I have the least amount of maybe confidence in is the Dallas Mavericks, because I thought their role players, I just didn't have confidence in them. I didn't know what I was getting. I didn't know who the consistent third guy was going to be. And, you know, I didn't trust the defense. I didn't trust a lot of things. But so far, they proved me wrong. And the one thing that I maybe missed out on, and why I had them 11th, and why I shouldn't have had them 11th, is that Luka Doncic in the regular season is a monster. And Luka Doncic is a sick man, and he will lead your team to a win. And Luka Doncic has been a sick man so far. He's averaging 32, 8, and 8 with a steal, shooting 52% from the field, 41% from 3. And he, right now, might be the MVP of the league. And he has been amazing. Kyrie Irving, the crazy thing about this is the Mavericks are 8-2, and Kyrie hasn't really Kyried yet. Like, Kyrie, the last 2 games he just had, 35, I think, the other day. He's starting to get it back going. But Kyrie hasn't really been all-star, all-NBA like Kyrie so far. And they're still winning games. You know, and that's because they're role players. Their role players have really been surprising to me. Tim Hardaway Jr. is definitely in consideration for 6th man of the year. He's averaging 17 off the bench, shooting 42% from the field, 38% from 3. He's been getting buckets. Now we know he kind of goes on stretches here and there, but so far he's been getting buckets. Grant Williams, their big offseason pickup, has been great, shooting 50% from 3, averaging 11 points per game. He's been very good on both ends. Derrick Jones Jr. is becoming a 3-point shooter. He's shooting 36% from 3. He's been good. The rookie Derek Lively has come on a lot better than I thought he was. So far he's averaging 8, 6, and a block, shooting 71% from the field. Josh Green has been solid. He hasn't maybe been as great as he was last year, but he's still been solid. Like, this Mavericks team has been surprising me with the role players. You know, their offense has been amazing. Number 2 offense in the league. Now, the defense is still a concern. The 23rd ranked defense definitely have to get it together at some point. So the real question, the Mavericks, are they a real threat in the Western Conference? I'm gonna sell that they're a real threat in the West. The defense, really, the defense. When you have Luka, Kyrie, of course, you're probably gonna win. They're probably gonna be a good regular season team, win some games, but a real threat to like make it to the conference finals, win a championship, I'm still a little bit hesitant. I'm not saying for sure they're not gonna make it or for sure they are gonna make it. I'm just saying I'm not going there yet. The role players, it's been 10 games. They still have to show me. Is Grant Williams going to shoot 50% from 3 the entire year? Probably not. Is Smart Jr. going to have this kind of impact the rest of the year? Maybe not. Is Derrick Jones Jr. going to be as effective as he has the entire year? Maybe not. They could. They could, obviously. But I can't say for sure that they are. I know for sure Luka Doncic is going to be amazing. I know for sure Kyrie's going to step it up and be good. But I can't say for sure about the rest of the team. And the defense, again, is a little bit concerning. They're a team that the last few years with Jason Kidd has been based off or trying to be based off defense. And so far they have not been that the last 2 seasons. Now it could improve, obviously. But for right now, it's not looking like it maybe will. So are they a real threat in the Western Conference? I'm going to sell on it. Selling it for now. Now, if they keep doing this throughout the rest of the season and win a lot of games and their offense and defense starts to get better, then yes. But for right now, I'm going to sell it. Now, the last 2 are just more funner ones, not really as serious and all that stuff, just funner ones I want to put in. Next one is about the Indiana Pacers. The Indiana Pacers are the surprise team in the league. Every year we have that team that comes out of nowhere and surprises us. Last year, the Sacramento Kings jumped into a top 3 seed. The Memphis Grizzlies a few years ago were the breakout surprise team where they went all the way to a 2nd seed in the West. Are the Indiana Pacers the team this year? The team this year that will break out and will be the team that we're like, wow, they're number 4 seed in the East? Who would have saw that coming? That kind of team. So far, the Indiana Pacers are 6-4. They're 4th in the Eastern Conference. They have the number 1. They have the best offense in the NBA right now. They've been really good. Defensively, they're 27th. But offensively, they've been the funnest team to watch probably in the league right now. Tyrese Halliburton has been sensational. He's averaging 24 and 12 assists. Shooting 51% from the field, 41% from the 50-40-90. He's been really, really good. And he's been leading this really fun Indiana Pacers offense. Miles Turner has been very good this year as well. He's averaging 18 and 8 with almost 2 blocks, shooting 40% from 3. Bennedict Mathurin in his 2nd year has been solid. Buddy Hield has been good off the bench. Bruce Brown has fit in very well. But really, it's the bench for Indiana. Indiana might have the best bench in the league. Buddy Hield is playing really good, averaging 13 points, shooting 38% from 3. Jalen Smith and Aaron Nesmith have been very, very good. Jalen Smith is shooting the heck out of the ball. He's shooting 69% from the field and 64% from 3. Now, he's only taking 6 shots a game, but still, he's been really good. Aaron Nesmith might be in 6th Man of the Year conversations. I mean, Aaron Nesmith has been really, really good. Andrew Nembhard just plays really good basketball as well. This Pacers team has been very fun and very good. Offensively, they've been just absolutely putting up numbers on the offensive end. Now, they're also giving up a lot of numbers as they're the 27th ranked defense in the league. So, I don't know how serious you could take that team. But offensively, I mean, this team has been fun. Are they the surprise breakout team of the year so far? I'm going to buy it. Saying they're going to be the team this year that jumps up and be like, wow, the Pacers are the 5th seed in the Eastern Conference. Like, they actually could. In the regular season, it's different than the playoffs, obviously. But I can see this kind of holding up a little bit in the regular season. Now, are they going to be the number 1 offense for the entirety of the year? Maybe not. A lot of these guys are hot right now, and maybe that could, slow down. Obviously, you can go through some stretches, and they're still a young team that haven't really won a lot so far in the NBA, so they could have some moments where they can't close out or stuff like that. But I don't see a reason why this team can't be a playoff team for sure. Tyrese Halliburton is playing really good right now. Lock him into the All-Star game right now. There are other runs like Miles Turner, Bruce Brown, Buddy Hield have found kind of their vets on the team, have found their way, know how to, know their role in playing it. But also if their bench just keeps playing with the same intensity. Aaron Nesmith, Jalen Smith, Andrew Nembhard, they're playing with intensity right now and energy. And if they keep doing that, I mean, I don't see why this team can't be a team that's like finish up 5th in the East. There's still a lot of time left to go, but I'm going to buy it and say they're going to be the surprise team. They're going to be the team where we look at the end of the year and be like, Dang, the Indiana Pacers were the 5th seed in the Eastern Conference, man. Who would have thought of that? And the final one we have is about the Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets, they're 6-4. They're on a 6-game win streak. They're the 4th seed in the Western Conference. And this one is the Houston Rockets are a playoff team. Right now, they would be the 4th seed in the West. They're on a 6-game win streak, 6-3. They just beat the Denver Nuggets the other night. They're top 10 offense and a top 10 defense. They look really good right now. You know, they shouldn't be this good this early. Are they a playoff team though? I'm gonna have to sell it for now, just because it's the Houston Rockets, and I kind of have to sell. Are they gonna be like this the entire year? Most likely no. Are they gonna be a playoff team? Maybe not. I mean, but I don't know right now. Like right now, they look really good, but we have to think at some point it's gonna kind of alter themselves back up, and some teams like the Clippers, the Lakers, the Suns are gonna start climbing back up, and the Kings are gonna start climbing back up there, and eventually they're gonna be the odd team out. You know, that would be hilarious. It'd be fun, and it'll be super surprising if they do make it. But realistically, I can't say for sure they're gonna make the playoffs. You know, but you gotta give them a lot of credit, man. They've been playing really good. Alperen Sengun has been amazing so far. He's their best player. Alperen Sengun should be their best player. He's averaging 19, 8, and 6, shooting 60% from the field right now. He's been really good. Jalen Green has had some good moments. He's not shooting the ball as efficiently, but he's still getting his when he needs to. The vets, though. The vets have been really paying off, and they're showing why they got the money they did. Fred VanVleet, even though he's not shooting the ball super well, he's closed out some games for this team. He's been coaching this team on the court. He's been kind of like, the coach on the court for them. He's been seeing a lot of times where he's bringing young players over and being like, hey, man, be cool. You know, this, stuff like that. Dylan Brooks has been just solid. He's shooting 53% from 3 right now. He's just been something they can rely on. Jeff Green off the bench has been really good. He closed out the game against the Nuggets. The young players are looking better. You know, Alperen Sengun looks a lot more comfortable. Jalen Green and Jabari Smith look a lot more comfortable. Tari Eason looks more comfortable. They just look a lot more, you know, like a team. They look like a competent basketball team, which, of course, it's crazy to say that about an NBA team, but it's for real. Like, they look actually like a competent, okay basketball team, which is really what we wanted to see from the Rockets this year. We didn't want to see them win 17 games again and be this bad team again. We want to see them at least be confident. Now, we didn't expect them to make a big jump to the playoffs. That's not what we wanted from them. We just want to see them look better, even if it is a 13 seed in the West, because the Western Conference is so stacked. Like, as long as they look better and they look actually like a basketball team that knows what they're doing, that's all we really need. And they're doing that and more. They're actually winning games. They're playing defense. They're locking in on defense. They're closing out games. They're hitting shots. You know, they're making big plays happen. You know, like, it's been very fun to watch. You know? So, are they a playoff team? I have to sell it for now because this is a new team and we got to see how the rest of the season goes. But if they do make the playoffs, this is one of the greatest turnarounds in NBA history. Ime Udoka right now has to be leader and coach of the year. I mean, if he brings this Rockets team to the playoffs, then he should unanimous coach of the year for him. He should get a Medal of Honor, dang near, for bringing this team in one season, going from the dumpster fire of the NBA to a playoff team. You know. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you're buying or selling down low in the comments. I want to hear from you. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you enjoyed the content, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, all stuff like that. Really appreciate it. Really upset a lot. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.